Hey, George, good morning. Yeah, the internet lighting up with questions over this video. Did the object come from the rocket or from somewhere else?
Today, we discuss the unfolding of a 13,000 years old mystery, the Black Satellite. A hoax or the real deal? Is it true that a greater intelligence has been monitoring our planet's activities for so long without us even realizing it? In this video, we're going to uncover the truth about what is believed to be the clearest image of an extraterrestrial satellite, answer questions about the bizarre occurrences and sightings in our galaxy, and tell you what NASA may have been hiding. Without further ado, let's begin. Discovery of the last puzzle piece. These are the best photographs of the Black Knight satellite ever uploaded, and their creator just did it. He explained that it was briefly visible from the International Space Station before the cameras were abruptly shut off. Even though it is thousands of miles above the planet's surface, the International Space Station has periodically played host to a puzzling phenomenon: the apparent deactivation of cameras after mysterious sightings. According to the man who posted the shot, he frequently checks out the ISS's live camera feed. He explained that he has been intrigued by the prospect of discovering what is beyond our planet's atmosphere. Recently, he observed movement in the night sky, and he looked up to see the International Space Station in orbit above the Earth, and against the backdrop of stars, it appeared as a streak of mystery. The more he observed the object, the more distinct the shape became, until it was unmistakably the shape of a satellite, he claimed. But this isn't any old satellite. He compared it to the enigmatic Black Knight spacecraft supposed to have circled the Earth for millennia. Instantly, he pulled out his phone and snapped a photo of the display. He wanted to remember this once-in-a-lifetime meeting and knew he had to act quickly. The satellite stood out like a sore thumb against the blackness of space, an ominous shadow against the backdrop of stars. He posted the photo online so that others might see the strange phenomenon for themselves. Several commentators have proclaimed this image the best photograph of the Black Knight satellite seen so far. There is no clear explanation for how the Black Knight satellite first came into existence. Therefore, its origins remain mysterious. The concept, though, is simple. There have been rumors for a long time that a mysterious object has been following Earth's orbit. Some claim that the unidentified object has been orbiting the Earth for over 13,000 years. Despite the audacity of the allegation, it was the latest iteration of an idea that dates back to at least 1973. There have been many changes and modifications to this hypothesis over time as it gained popularity and caught the attention of a wider audience. Is this alien contact? According to the premise, a spaceship from a technologically superior race has been circling Earth since prehistoric times. Some people are certain that NASA and governments worldwide have been hiding this information from the public. Despite claims by specialists that the reported sightings and contacts with spacecraft are explanations for radio signals and space debris, the Black Knight theory has pressed on. Proponents of the existence of the Black Knight satellite claim that they have evidence dating back to the 19th century. Famous scientist Nikola Tesla had some strange radio signals happen to him at his Colorado Springs lab around this time. The unknown spacecraft has been linked to these communications. In addition, a 1998 NASA photograph showing a mysterious object in orbit provides further support for the existence of the Black Knight satellite. By diving into its historical roots and compelling photographic material, this investigation of the Black Knight satellite phenomenon deepens our comprehension. Over the last century, academics and theorists have accumulated and evaluated a wide range of individual incidents that lend credence to the existence of the Black Knight satellite. Each occurrence has been recorded, analyzed, and assembled to produce a solid body of data that helps explain this mystery object. Tesla's lab experiment. The intriguing idea that the famous physicist Nikola Tesla accidentally stumbled upon enigmatic signals emerging from an unknown entity is only one of many theories, and ideas brought forward retroactively throughout history. Nikola Tesla created a wireless radio receiver with unprecedented sensitivity in 1899 while experimenting at his Colorado laboratory. A series of mysterious electrical impulses appeared throughout his experiments, which left him dumbfounded. Tesla was fascinated by the possibility that these signals weren't accidental, but meant to convey some message. The fact that he could decipher these enigmatic transmissions as numerical codes led him to conclude that they were sent from extraterrestrial civilizations on Mars. Supporters of the Black Knight theory is confident that his claims are wrong. They believe the transmissions he picked up represent the first attempt by technologically superior beings aboard the satellite to contact humans on Earth. In 1927, a major event occurred that was taken as more confirmation by those who already believed in the field. Hall's 1927 observation. While experimenting with radio transmission, Norwegian engineer Jørgen Hals made an unexpected finding. Hals discovered something strange while doing these experiments. A sequence of signal echoes that mysteriously returned 3 seconds after he had finished transmitting. Long-delayed echoes, a strange phenomenon seen numerous times since then, defy explanation. For those who believed in this phenomenon, Hall's observation was an important moment in history. Kehoe's claims, government intervention. In yet another claim, notable explorer Donald Keyhoe made a claim in 1954 that was picked up by the New York Times. As reported by Keyhoe, 2 natural satellites have been proven to orbit the Earth, per a source within the Pentagon. The Army Office of Ordnance Research had assembled a group of astrophysicists in reaction to this, and they were looking into the possibility of satellites passing close to Earth. Keyhoe may have been right, but the heads of the project have denied finding any satellites like that. This event sparked widespread curiosity and discussion among scientists and the general public about the reality of these purported natural satellites. Many experts in the field believe the government is trying to hide the existence of the Black Knight satellite. The situation became much more chaotic and confusing when Russia and the United States introduced real satellites in 1957 and 1958. A significant event occurred in the United States on February 11, 1960, when the radar of the Navy picked up a strange, unidentified item. Department of Defense officials then insisted that the object was nothing more than discarded parts from an Air Force Discoverer satellite. The hoax is uncovered. The reality, however, has since been made public thanks to declassified Pentagon records. The Defense Department lied to the public and blamed the phenomenon on random space junk when, in fact, they knew better. In truth, this mysterious object was a U.S. reconnaissance satellite deployed with the express mission of spying on Russia. Duncan Lunan, an accomplished science fiction author, tried to explain it all in 1973. His theory explained everything that had happened up to that point, creating a fascinating story. Lunan made the intriguing claim in an interview with Spaceflight magazine that the strange sightings and transmissions were caused by an unnamed space object that has been in orbit around Earth for the past 13,000 years. He went even further, saying he had decoded the signal's message and learned they were advanced civilization instructions. Eventually, Lunan walked back on his grandiose claim and made his disinterest clear. NASA has released a detailed explanation of the photo in question to dispel the erroneous idea of the Black Knight spacecraft. To aid in the building and assembly of the International Space Station, NASA sent out the first space shuttle mission. This detailed account clarifies the events leading up to the photograph and the significance of the mission. The space shuttle transported various materials for use in constructing the International Space Station, including 4 thermal blanket covers for insulating the station's trunnion pins. One of these blankets, however, came loose and floated away during a spacewalk. The loss of the blanket caused worry about the trunnion pin's stability and the station's thermal regulation system. Many people today believe the Black Knight to be real, but it should be noted that it is only a piece of space junk. Others, however, are skeptics and reject this explanation. They insist that if advanced civilizations fly UFOs, they may be interested in learning more about Earth and its inhabitants. Could aliens be targeting the ISS? The International Space Station, ISS, is the pinnacle of human engineering and international cooperation, providing invaluable information about our technical progress, life support systems, and the viability of human habitation in the harsh environment of space. Extraterrestrials with superior technology could study the space station to learn about our methods for coping with the difficulties of long-term space travel. Astronauts from different countries living and working together in close quarters aboard the International Space Station represent a microcosm of human culture on Earth. aliens from another world would be curious about studying human social behavior, psychology, and how people cope with solitude and the limitations of the space environment. These findings may illuminate the universal dynamics of social behavior and cooperation. These objects are conducting strategic reconnaissance of human space operations. As Earth's most visible outpost in orbit, the ISS may serve as a focal point for the exploration of the cosmos by aliens. They may be spying on us to gauge our technological prowess, monitor the development of our space exploration projects, or evaluate the risks associated with our forays into space. More speculations, and NASA's reply. For decades, people have been interested in and fascinated by the phenomenon of UFOs. Even though most sightings happen on Earth, there have been many reports in space. These encounters have made people wonder if aliens exist, and other advanced civilizations exist. Some people who have seen a recent photograph of a big spherical object passing in front of the sun have concluded that it depicts an unidentified flying object. Many space fans are worried about the mysterious object that suddenly appeared in our solar system, and might be anything from a stray planet to a gigantic spacecraft. Experts in the study of the unknown have claimed this happens quite frequently. Objects that appear spherical, disc-shaped, or even extended are frequently reported as abnormal in solar reports. Often seen in the area of solar flares and other solar events, these objects have been described as metallic or shiny. Observers have seen these objects either approach or leave the sun's surface, while others claim they hover or travel very close to the surface. The original poster of the image has yet to be identified, although it has been claimed that they snapped a brief screenshot before the mysterious thing disappeared. NASA's response. NASA debunked these claims. It explained the blue sphere seen in certain NASA spacecraft photographs is not a real object, but is the consequence of a strange camera phenomenon. The blue sphere appears as a byproduct of the camera's observation of the solar surface and transmission of images to Earth. According to NASA, the sensor in charge of processing photos before release can sometimes become overwhelmed, causing distortions and false representations to appear in the images. Therefore, the supposed blue orb that intrigued fans does not exist, meaning the real thing is less interesting than expected. NASA claims that the spacecraft's onboard image processor can become overworked, leading to distorted photos. These pictures almost always look like they were captured by a different telescope than the one used to take them. According to NASA, the heliospheric imager telescopes occasionally record double exposures, or instances where data from multiple telescopes is combined in their photographs. The image shows two photos of the sun merging since the images were created by combining multiple exposures. NASA claims this explains these sightings, but some theorists believe objects observed so close to the sun demonstrate advanced technology. From this point of view, these objects might be spaceships or probes sent by a technologically superior civilization to either harness solar energy or spy on our solar system. These skeptics believe that advanced civilizations will set up shop around our star because of the great value of the sun's energy and resources. Settling the differences. It is difficult to draw firm conclusions on the nature and origin of these purported objects near the sun due to a lack of meaningful data and the possibility of misunderstanding visual phenomena. Extraordinary claims need extraordinary evidence, they say, and most of these sightings may be explained by well-established natural occurrences or camera artifacts. Also, the extreme heat, radiation, and gravitational forces around the sun make it difficult for any object or spacecraft to get too close to it. More research is needed from the scientific community to make sense of these encounters. Better information on these supposed solar objects might be gathered using cutting-edge imaging technology like high-resolution cameras and spectroscopic devices. Confirming or refuting the claims through coordinated observations from several space-based and ground-based observatories may also be possible. There is currently a lot of interest and discussion about the occurrence of mysterious objects near the sun. Others propose using cutting-edge technology, while some point to natural events or camera artifacts as possible reasons. However, the lack of concrete evidence and the harsh conditions so close to the sun make it tough to draw firm conclusions. More research from the scientific community and careful analysis are needed to sort fact from fiction about these purported sightings. New planet discovered. Scientists have identified a massive, magnetically powerful rogue object in our star neighborhood. The fact that it has no known connection to any other celestial body is particularly intriguing. That is to say, it is not orbiting a star that can be seen. They are calling it SIMP J0136, 5663 plus 093, 3473. Astronomers used the Very Large Array Radio Telescope to spot the strange object 20 light-years from our home planet. In addition to the significance of the discovery itself, this is also of great scientific interest because it is the first object of planetary mass to be identified by a radio telescope. Its dimensions are large enough to qualify it as a planet. The newly found object is 12.7 times as massive as Jupiter, putting it on the cusp between becoming a normal star and a brown dwarf. The IAW Working Group on Extrasolar Planets provides a more precise definition of a brown dwarf as an object too tiny to produce hydrogen fusion. The most common kind of stellar power generation is sufficiently massive to support deuterium fusion during star formation. They can be anything from around 13 times the mass of Jupiter up to about 80 times the mass of Jupiter. Understanding the new planet. An astronomer from Arizona State University has suggested that SIMP J136, 5663 plus 933473, which is on the boundary between a planet and a brown dwarf, could shed light on the magnetic processes of stars and planets. The discovered object has a very robust magnetic field. Up until 2001, it was believed that brown dwarfs did not generate any radio waves. This finding lends credence to the idea that they do engage in magnetic activities. Compared to Jupiter's magnetic field, the one discovered here is 200 times stronger. Despite being substantially more massive than Jupiter, it is estimated to be approximately 200 million years old, and its radius is only 1.22 times that of Jupiter's. Since it was discovered among a cluster of other young stars, this makes it a baby in extraterrestrial terms. Kepler 16b. This is an exciting time for astronomers because of the possibility that this discovery could allow them to make significant progress in understanding the magnetic fields of planets, stars, and gas giants. When we hear of worlds like Kepler 16b, with features similar to Star Wars' Tatooine, our imaginations run wild with the possibilities. We may not have from wizard universities and the Hunger Games' deadly competition, but we may have landed on an actual Tatooine. It would be a bold assertion to say that Kepler 16b is the birthplace of the beloved Star Wars character Luke Skywalker, but it's possible that the planet isn't different from ours. Two sunsets would be visible from the surface of Kepler 16b, much like Tatooine. The exoplanet Kepler 16b is extremely rare. It follows a path around two stars, both of which are orbited by Earth. This is the same explanation provided for the two sunsets on Tatooine, a planet in the Star Wars franchise with a binary star system. The observations have been carried out using the French-based Kepler Space Telescope. The team of astronomers used the 193 centimeters telescope and the radial velocity approach to detect the planet within the known system. The radial velocity technique. The radial velocity technique tracks the rate at which a star moves relative to a planet. The fact that Kepler 16b was found using this technique is noteworthy. It serves as a timely reminder and rebuttal to those who argue that costly and elaborate spacecraft are absolutely necessary. It is not out of the question to employ these more unconventional approaches to learn something useful and make considerable progress. Even if one ignores the time, money, and inefficiency of deploying spacecraft, the radial velocity technique might still be the better option. Typically, this strategy is more sensitive and easily influenced by the other planets in a system, revealing to us the possible locations of extra bodies we might not have otherwise explored. It also gets us closer to measuring a planet's most fundamental attribute, its mass. Since the radial velocity approach was successfully applied to Kepler 16b, the University of Birmingham-based team intends to continue using it to look for circumbinary planets. With any luck, this will lead to new insights into how planets are created. The truth behind planet formation. Man is constantly making efforts to understand space and beyond. The history of planet formation in circumbinary systems needs to be better understood. Planets are typically assumed to develop amid the dust and gas that surround newborn stars, a region called a protoplanetary disk. Although the presence of two stars in a circumbinary system raises questions about the viability of this process as we know it, we can keep expanding our knowledge base by conducting studies using novel approaches. asking increasingly precise questions and studying newly discovered objects. The search for what lies beyond Earth's atmosphere will continue forever. Scientists have observed fleeting flashes throughout the night sky, and they have now traced the source of these mysterious cosmic flashes to an unexpected region of space. Fast radio bursts have been identified as the source of these unexplained light flashes. Astronomers using radio telescopes discovered that these bursts originate from very old stars. These short-lived radio blasts occur with great irregularity. Since their discovery in 2007, they have been a wonder for the astronomical community. Only detectable with radio telescopes, these explosions are as powerful as the sun for a whole day. These bursts originate from a wide variety of galaxies and appear at random. There are hundreds of these jolts every day. Astronomers in the Netherlands, led by Frans Christen and Kenzie Nemo, have assembled a team to delve more deeply into this occurrence. In January 2020, they conducted a study and found that the constellation Ursa Major is a consistent source of these lights. Many radio telescopes should be used to investigate the possible causes of the burst. The group used telescopes across Europe, including those in Germany, Sweden, Latvia, and Poland, which made up the EVN European VLBI network. The EVN European VLBI network is a configuration of telescopes that measure the cosmos. After collecting all the data, they were taken aback to discover that the radio flashes were coming from the closest known source to our little blue planet, the nearby galaxy of Messiah 81, also known as M81, which is only about 12 million light-years away. 81 contains the globular cluster, a massive collection of ancient stars. It's incredible to discover rapid radio flashes coming from a globular cluster. Out in the reaches of the universe, you'll only find ancient stars. Younger stars have been detected in regions with fast radio bursts. Something else must be at play here. Most scientists agree that galactic radio bursts originate in magnetars, the extremely magnetic remnants of supernovae. According to Astron Radio Burst project member and University of Amsterdam researcher Jason Hessels, magnetars should be bright and young and not be surrounded by older stars. Therefore, if this object is indeed a magnetar, it could not have arisen from the explosion of a young star. Surely there was a different way to see it that would make sense. This led scientists to conclude that a white dwarf must have been responsible for the birth of the magnetar. Its weight eventually caused it to collapse on itself. Kirsten agrees with this theory. A dense cluster of stars can undergo strange changes for billions of years, he explained. We have spotted a star with a fascinating backstory. Supernovas don't happen to all stars. Some, including our sun, are destined to become white dwarfs. Despite their modest size and high density, many stars like these exist in the old cluster. If one of the white dwarfs can snag enough mass from its companion, it can evolve into a neutron star, as Mohit Bhardwaj of Canada's McGill University proposed. However, that's extremely unusual. Clusters of old stars are the quickest and easiest way to generate short radio bursts. The way astronomers view magnetars and stars may have to change because of this finding. More investigation into these radio blasts could lead to astonishing discoveries. Objects resembling snakes have reportedly been sighted near the International Space Station in recent years. Space snakes. Scientists and the general public have tried to make sense of these encounters, and their findings have caused much discussion and dispute. First reported by ISS crew members, snake-like objects have been spotted by other spacefarers. They saw what looked like enormous snakes slithering through the sky. These mysterious things reportedly possessed a metallic sheen and moved with an eerie grace. Some people have taken these sightings seriously, while others have disregarded them as nothing more than space debris or optical illusions. These objects' snake-like appearance and mysterious behavior defy conventional understanding. Several hypotheses have been put forward as to what these snake-like shapes are. Some have hypothesized that these are top-secret military aircraft used for spying or monitoring. Some believe they are meteors, while others think they are high-tech aircraft or aliens sent to Earth to speak with or study humanity. A compelling theory proposes that these things are conscious rather than robots or highly developed crafts. Some researchers have hypothesized that the objects are living organisms, such as a serpent-like space monster. This may sound fantastic, but there is data to support the idea that life can persist in microgravity and the vastness of space. Scientists have theorized that life could exist on other celestial bodies based on discovering microbes and other forms of extremophile life on the exterior of the ISS. There's a lot of mystery and intrigue around these artifacts, but people need to learn to deal with them. The interaction of solar winds and Earth's magnetic field is thought by some researchers to be the sole source of these events. Some people think the sightings aren't of real spacecraft, but rather the consequence of technological errors or abnormalities. Whatever the case, the snake-shaped objects remain a perplexing riddle that will undoubtedly hold the public's attention for years. Space bubbles. Researchers are always ready for discoveries, like the giant bubbles discovered at the center of our Milky Way, because anything could be hiding there. They were surprised, however, to see what appeared to be odd bubbles. Kids blow soap bubbles on Earth, but these were nothing like them. This was a pair of huge bubble-like objects, each producing radio waves hiding near the galactic core in plain sight. An enormous structure formed by stacking the two spheres, which resembles an hourglass, hangs at the center of the Milky Way. Each one is so enormous, measuring hundreds of light years in circumference, that it dwarfs every other structure in the area combined. But what are they, and how have such massive objects remained undetected for so long? Scientists utilizing Africa's greatest science project, the South African Radio Astronomy Observatory Meerkat Telescope, finally spotted the enigmatic bubbles thanks to their generated radio waves. The radio waves from the galactic center had been so powerful that they had obscured the bubbles. Researchers acquired a considerably clearer picture of what lies at the center of the Milky Way thanks to the meerkat's tremendous capabilities, which allowed them to filter through the dense radio dust. They hypothesized that these out-of-place structures have been around for millions of years and result from a tremendous explosive burst near the supermassive black hole in the center of our galaxy. Black holes and the Milky Way. According to the study's principal author, Ian Hayward, our galaxy's central black hole is relatively quiet compared to other galaxies. However, the black hole at the center of the Milky Way can occasionally exhibit unusual activity, flaring up as it periodically devours enormous clumps of dust and gas. The intense outbursts caused by one such feeding frenzy likely magnified this hitherto undetected trait. The peculiar amount of activity in the region surrounding the center of the Milky Way, powered by the black hole that drives many energetic processes in this part of the galaxy, has long made it one of the most intriguing features of our galaxy. By piecing together what happens at this Milky Way crossroads, researchers can benefit from the information uncovered within this weird, unexplored realm. Finding two strange, enormous radio-emitting bubbles is enough to add to the growing body of theories about the behaviors at the center of our galaxy, even if there aren't many immediate answers to confirm how they appeared. Understanding the galaxy through radio bursts. Scientists have spent decades attempting to make sense of the limitless and unfathomable universe, including massive radio bursts. These bursts come from an unknown location and are extremely powerful radio pulses lasting only a few milliseconds. Some scientists even claim that the energy output of most quick radio bursts is equivalent to that of the sun over 3 days. One of the reasons they are still shrouded in mystery, though, is that they are so difficult to locate. The flares they create are initially very bright, but by the time they reach Earth, they have faded significantly and are barely visible. The Hubble Space Telescope may have just delivered data that may enable scientists to start deciphering the mystery of quick radio bursts. Recently, the telescope pinpointed the birthplaces of 5 fast radio bursts, each of which was found to have originated within the spiral arms of a different galaxy in the far distance. Since star explosions and collisions involving old neutron stars normally occur far from galaxy arms, researchers could discount such explanations for fast radio bursts. A third explanation, that fast radio bursts came from dwarf galaxies, was likewise dismissed. Hubble Space Telescope images of galactic infrastructure did not fit this model. Instead, this site lends credence to the recent notion that magnetars may be the source of quick radio bursts. These quick radio bursts may be generated by magnetars, a fascinating class of neutron stars whose powerful magnetic fields have long baffled astronomers. Astronomers have been poring over the latest photos from the Hubble telescope to learn more about the peculiar attributes of the stars involved in the fast radio bursts. They used a combination of ultraviolet and near-infrared radiation to determine the masses of the galaxies and the ages of their stars. Even though this new data lends credence to the magnetar idea, much more study is still required to answer how quickly radio bursts are produced. These new photographs, however, provide a wealth of additional detail regarding the nature of the galaxies producing these bursts and the events taking place at their centers. According to a statement released by the study's lead author, Alexandra Mannings, the imaging allows us to investigate better what is happening at the FRB and obtain a better picture of the general host galaxy features, such as its mass and star formation rate. With the advancements in technology that have resulted from using the Hubble Space Telescope to gather these photos, scientists are optimistic that they will soon be able to establish what causes fast radio bursts. One of the most fascinating aspects of space is how much we still don't know. In light of everything we have learned thus far, this implies that every now and then, astronomers and scientists face new information that runs counter to long-held beliefs and theories. For example, scientists were taken aback when they stumbled upon a phenomenon of unprecedented rarity. An enormously powerful neutron star with a magnetic field around 10 trillion times stronger than the Sun was observed to emit a huge beam traveling at almost the speed of light. When a big star completely exhausts its fuel, a neutron star is the remnant. In the final stages of a star's collapse, before it produces a black hole, its core generates neutrons, effectively stopping the collapse and leaving behind a neutron star. These stars have high density, and their gravitational attraction is nearly as strong as black holes. Astronomers were baffled when they first saw the mysterious burst from the extraordinarily massive neutron star, Swift-J 24-36-614, caught by the Carl G. Jansky Very Large Array Radio Telescope. While neutron stars can occasionally emit jets, it was previously thought that those with particularly powerful magnetic fields couldn't generate jets like the one seen with the Jansky telescope. This calls for a complete rethinking of our understanding of neutron star capabilities. After the jet burst, the crew closely watched the star to collect any fresh data explaining how this seemingly inconceivable phenomenon might have occurred. They took detailed notes in the X-ray and radio emissions that followed the original jet burst to determine what triggered it. The neutron star appears to be presently accreting matter from a neighboring partner star. This matter, once drawn to the neutron star, condenses into a disk of flattened matter that orbits the star. The disk is called an accretion disk, and it is this disk that interacts with the neutron star's incredibly high magnetic field to cause the generation of jets at the star's poles. However, alternative hypotheses, like those involving star winds and shock waves generated within the accretion disk, could potentially explain why such an unexpected occurrence occurred so soon after the jet's first impact. Remember that these are just hypotheses at this point, not proven facts. Researchers are investing much time and effort to learn about other neutron stars, hoping to observe jets under comparable conditions and confirm one of the new possibilities. What do you think these new findings mean, though? Let us know in the comments section.